Hey Spark, how you doing this week? So you guys just watched me dance like a skeleton. Let me rephrase that. You guys just watched me dance, making a fool of myself, dressed like a skeleton. Wasn't really dancing like a skeleton. Wasn't really dancing like a skeleton because those guys don't dance. Because they're dead. Like properly dead. Dry bones, bare bones. No life left in those guys. They don't dance. That's why I think watching a skeleton dance is funny, because it's so bizarre, so far away from what really happens. Anyway, in the Bible, in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 37, we hear a bit about bones, dry bones, skeletons. Because God, the Lord, takes Ezekiel, the prophet Ezekiel, out to a valley full of bones. He says, "The hand of the Lord was upon me, and he brought me out by the Spirit of the Lord and set me in the middle of a valley. It was full of bones. He led me back and forth among them, and I saw a great many bones on the floor of the valley. The bones were very dry." So just think like Lion King? Have you seen the movie The Lion King? The elephant graveyard, there's like dry bones, there's like skeletons everywhere. Think that, except not elephant skeletons, just like people skeletons, bones, I guess. It's like a grey, dark valley full of bones, just dead bones. Don't know why I assume grey and dark. For some reason, like a nice, sunny, bright valley full of bones is even weirder. Anyway, moving on. So he's in the valley full of bones. And then God asked him, "Son of man, can these bones live?" And Ezekiel says, "O sovereign Lord, you alone know." That's a good answer. Basically, if God asks you, "Is this possible?" just be careful, because you might end up with egg on your face. Anyway, so then God said to me, "Prophesy to these bones and say to them, dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. This is what the sovereign Lord says to these bones. I will make breath enter you, and you will come to life. I will attach tendons to you and make flesh come upon you and cover you with skin. I will put breath in you, and you will come to life. Then you will know that I am the Lord." So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I was prophesying, there was a noise, a rattling sound, and the bones came together, bone to bone. I looked, and tendons and flesh appeared on them, and skin covered them, but there was no breath in them. Then he said to me, "Prophesy to the breath. Prophesy, son of man, and say to it, this is what the sovereign Lord says. Come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe into these slain, that they may live." So I prophesied as he commanded, and breath entered them. They came to life, stood up on their feet, a vast army. Interesting story, eh? So those of you who have been watching these videos know that we followed along with church as they did a series on prayer, except for a couple of weeks here and there where I changed it up. And now, church is doing a series on breath, the breath of God. And I think we'll kind of follow along again and talk about the same thing. We'll talk about the breath of God and what it means for us. In the verses that we read today, we read about these dry, dead bones. And then through God's prophet prophesying to them, they come together, the bones come together, they grow flesh and skin and kind of become bodies again. But it's not until God puts breath into them that they live. It's the breath of God that brings them back to life. Breath is a strange thing, isn't it? You don't really think about it much. You can't see it, except for like on a freezing cold. Like, you can see a bit of, anyway, usually you can't see it, you don't think about it much, but without it, you can't live. the breath of God brings life. Just like it did for those bones, it brings life to us as well. God's breath in us. So have a think about that week. We're going to talk a bit more about it next week. So have a good one, guys, and I'll see you soon.